So my name is Dr. Dalia Hafiz. I'm assistant professor with the College of Architecture and Design at Ajman University. And today I will share with you, I think it was an interesting experience with the students and how AI is affecting education in general, and specifically, in this case, it was history education. At the beginning of the semester, we were told in our institution that we are encouraged to apply AI in all fields of all the topics, except for history, because history does not require AI. So that even struck me even more to apply it with the students. So as you know now, AI is being incorporated in everywhere and it becomes challenging. We're starting to get students questioning on whether AI is going to replace them at some point. And this happens even with first year students. So this became even more challenging for us as educators to start to bring it into the workplace and their so it needs to be incorporated from their day one in their education. Last year, our institution started to take the approach that AI needs to be implemented in each and every possible subject. So the application of AI in architecture, we start to see it now everywhere in offices and companies, in sustainability analysis, in project management, and even creating different ideas of the same design. It saves a lot of time and it's very useful. In interior design, we start to play with the spaces. We start to create different options very quickly. We incorporated, as I said, in the training and in the courses the students are taking. There's a gap between the AI and the literature review part. So AI is not very new. Believe it or not, it was mentioned almost 100 years ago in the literature. However, in the recent years, it became a very hot topic. And we start to question it being used everywhere. I mean, now, instead of Googling things, we use ChatGPT. Instead of editing our pictures using Photoshop, there are new AI plugins for Photoshop and for pretty much a lot of other softwares. We start to see it also in the urban planning. So if you have a piece of land that would take 10 buildings, you just give the piece of land and you give the specifications of what you're expecting to have. For example, the number of buildings, numbers of floor, like G+2, ground floor +3 floors, and what are the types of the building, even the orientation, and you just let the tool do the job for you. For this particular case study, so the students in the middle of the semester, so now we are talking about the history of architecture. The students started to take a couple of the main historical eras, and I'll mention some of them. For example, students already went through the Baroque, they went through the Islamic, the Egyptian, and the Greek and Roman, and the Renaissance. I think some of these names are familiar for everyone. And by then, the students are aware of these eras, and they can identify these styles. So at this point, the students were asked to take a building that follows a Baroque style, and they are going to apply elements from the previous styles that they already know. So what we did, so the students were given all the options to pick a building first, and then the next step was to select a few keywords. So what they want to change, for example, add more columns or add more styles from more elements from a style of their choice. for example, Islamic or Egyptian, ancient Egyptian, Pharaonic, or Greek, or add anything of their choice. And they used a tool called PromAI. So PromAI is an image iteration generation AI tool. And then and they used another one called OpenArt. And then they start to give their feedback. For me, that was a big question mark, what the students would think about the tool. And then again, we took the same images that they created and we asked AI to re-identify the keywords that were used. So it's more like coming back to the same points. And then again, they give another feedback. So these are some of the examples of the students' iterations. So they took famous buildings from the Baroque era, and they start to add keywords. And then at the bottom here, we start to see some students adding things from Doctor Strange, for example. So they wanted to be creative. They want to apply things that they know, and they start to see what the tool is able to come up with. They start to change colors, they start to apply more columns, apply the elements from previous styles, and so on. Honestly, for me, it was a challenge to see what the students' feedback is. As I said, students already come with the impression that they are going to be replaced very soon by AI, especially when it comes to architecture, design, and they are concerned from day one, from first year. Again, here we're talking about first year students. So my challenge was to do two things. Allow the students to see the abilities and capabilities and limitations of AI at this point and explore it. And for me, I want to see their feedback. So their feedback was, for me, it was important that they were able to know that if they don't know what they are giving the tool can go wrong, or the tool can give them wrong outcomes. So, for example, they can put Egyptian columns and then they would get Greek columns. They can put Islamic style and they got Pharaonic style. If they don't understand what the tool is providing them, and if they don't know which keywords they are giving the tool, so they can give some keywords, and if they are not very specific about what to give it, then it's not gonna give them the right thing. So the students' feedback for me was very interesting, that the tool is more like a little child, like a baby. You have to tell it exactly what to do, and you have to be precise, and you have to know what to expect to get the right outcomes. So, and you have to invest time. So it's not like a magic wand that will give you with zero effort. So you have to invest time and effort to get the right outcomes. So the feedback was the tool give them outcomes very quickly, and it's a cost effective. It's either free tools or tools that would are pretty are not that expensive. So it's like at $10 or $20 a month, instead of like hiring a person to do the render or to do the outcomes for them. And the most important thing for me, that without the designer expertise, the changes can be challenging using the tools. So these are my final thoughts. The tools can help us generate a lot of outcomes, a lot of data, a lot of findings very quickly, and it can open up our minds to new ideas. It can help us at the early stages of the design process when we are brainstorming. So instead of us looking for inspirations, it can be our inspiring tool. At the moment, AI, or at least the reimagination tools for architecture, are not fully capable to replace us for the time being. Maybe in the future, I think it will be more smart, and it will be able to do a lot more, and offering a lot more in both the architecture and education fields. Thank you. That's all from my side. And I'm happy to get any questions.